As I said in my opening comments, one of the focuses this morning I wanted to do is to see where you are in terms of getting the programs up and running as soon as possible. Can you tell us what the timeline currently is with the National Animal Disease Preparedness and Response Program, as well as the National Animal Vaccine and Veterinarian Countermeasures Bank?
So we believe at USDA that all three legs of the stool are important and play a role in the steps we're taking.
No, I know you said that, but what's the timeline?
And so we are prepared to be able to meet our expectations to invest at least the first $5 million in the preparedness effort before the end of the year. We're meeting regularly with not only the
How about the Countermeasures Bank?
The Countermeasures Bank, that's what we're meeting with poultry as well as swine and beef to understand how we might balance that.
So you don't have a timeline there yet?
We hope by the end of the year we might be prepared to advertise or put out a RFP to
And what the changes
vaccine
that have been made to the National Animal Health Laboratory Network in the Farm Bill last year, where are you in terms of implementing those changes?
So we continue to invest money in the laboratory network. Most recently, we invested money to be able to increase the capability of that lab network to test for African swine fever, and we're going to continue to evaluate where we can bolster that network.
Well, I think many of us are hearing different things from the industry folks that are dependent upon that. What alarms me, Mr. Secretary, is that the President's budget request for APHID in the fiscal year 2020 does not show any overall increase in spending for the 2018 levels. That would be difficult enough, but in fact it proposes to cut the National Animal Health Laboratory Network as well as other key programs within your budget. The point of these new authorities and funding was not to reduce the funding in existing areas or to replace your current work. So I guess I'm looking, and I think members of the subcommittee, what assurances you can give me that the new mandatory money you're getting from the Farm Bill will actually be used to improve our preparedness and response capabilities and not offset budget cuts in other areas. You know, you've been around long enough to know the President proposes and the Congress disposes. So we're working on the budget, but I hope that we're going to have a budget that allows you to implement the changes.
As a livestock producer myself and a beef producer, I understand the importance of animal health at a producer level as well as at a regulatory level. We look forward at APHIS to being wise stewards of whatever.
No, I understand that, but I mean, and you're representing the administration. I get that, but the bottom line is I certainly don't expect you to do more with less. That wasn't why we made the changes last year.
I understand that, sir.
And those are the things we're going to keep coming back to you on this to see how that's going. Let me get a little local here. As I noted, we had the egg producers in here last week. Some folks got some nice omelets, I think. But one of my local producers complimented the USDA in response to the outbreak, but they were frustrated that in terms of the indemnities because of the avian flu losses that we had in California, that they were based on prices that didn't reflect the markets in California. Which were higher in terms of the reimbursement rates. Is there some way to make sure that indemnities better match market values?
That's one of our constant struggles, and the indemnities is something that we've worked on to try to make them appropriate without making them attractive to have animals brought in to be able to take advantage of the indemnity. You know, when we look at production birds versus some of the exhibition birds that we're looking at, there can be a wide range in what producers deem the value of those birds to be.
No, I understand there's a dispute, but obviously we would like you to work that out and so that the indemnity reimbursement is fair and equitable based upon regional markets, and that's the question there. I've also got a question with regards to foot and mouth disease, which is a huge concern for cattle, sheep, and pork. The recent Government Accountability Office made many recommendations on how USDA could improve your preparedness. What actions have you taken?
To improve preparedness against foot and mouth disease?
Right.
I think that that's part of what we're ever looking at the border, how we work with CBP to identify countries that are of greater risk at perhaps being a vector for it to come into the United States.